Happy Wednesday it is, and we are moving into December. Can you believe how fast this year and this fall, and yeah, I can't believe we're already in December. I don't know, many of you are probably starting to recovering from Thanksgiving here in the US and making plans for Christmas coming up really soon. I'm grateful for all of you who are stopping in watching my live today. I have heard from, I know Tony Robbins is really famous for it, but I've also heard the expression from so many places, life happens to you. No, life happens for you and not to you. Hi there. Thank you so much for coming on by. And I get it, but at the same time, I was not sure I fully got it. I didn't want the feeling to be, that the hard things that happen in life, we should just, how do you deal with that, or disregard that people are going through all different kinds of hardships or trials or things like that in life. And it reminds me a lot of a movie, some of you might have seen, it was a long time ago now, it's called City of Angels. And in the movie, there is an angel that falls in love with a human. And he really wishes he could be with her. And his request gets granted. But as an angel, he never had to worry about feeling hungry. He never had to worry about any pain, physical pain, any heart pain. He just kind of existed before he became human himself. And then as he became human and he found her and they fell in love and everything was beautiful, he couldn't understand why things happened in life, why people had to go through pain, why things had to be hard, why, things just couldn't be kind of just easy. And I really liked her response, and has stayed with me. It's probably been, 20 years, something like that. And her response was, it's life. And that is a bit of what the concept is, that life happens for you and not to you. It's the shift of the mindset when you understand that. I know a lot of people get into the mode of, why is this happening to me? Why me? Why not someone else? I don't want to go through this. I don't want to do this. And we can say that, but it makes it really hard. People who cannot change that mindset, who cannot change that question in their life, who go through a trial and just keeps asking, why is this happening to me? I can guarantee you that those are people who are bitter, who are stuck in their life, who are stuck in depression and negative thinking, who can't see any way out. And as harsh as that is, if we can't change that thinking, it's going to get really, really hard for us. I was in an extremely abusive relationship a couple of years ago, and I was able to find, and I figured I couldn't be the only one. It was so extreme, I figured it had to be someone else. And where I lived at the time in Sweden, if you're married to someone, you can actually see if they have other children, if they were married before, and so forth. So you just go to the Swedish IRS and they print it out, and I found that there was an ex-wife and there was a little boy I didn't know about. And she happened to live really close to where I was at. And I went to her home, and it was a condo, a complex with a closed gate, so there was I had to click her microphone. Sorry, I'm having a brain freeze. But anyways, so she couldn't see me. I just rang on her intercom. That's what it's called, I think. So I rang on there, and all I said was, because I knew he had changed names, so all I said was, we have someone in common, you don't know me. And immediately her response was, I have been waiting for you. And I went up there and I saw this woman, and it had been about 5 years since she had seen this person, since she had been with him. She had moved on, she had a new life, a great life. She had a new husband that loved her. But when I came there, she was reminded of the time that she had spent with the person that we shared. She was a wreck. She couldn't stop smoking. She was just kept walking and pacing in the room, as we were talking. And I just thought to myself, that's not going to be me. When I get out of this situation, that's not going to be me. I think I've always had a belief with me that I can't ask, why is this happening to me? That doesn't serve me anything. I've always been of the belief that, as I find out something or I get into a situation, as soon as I can, once I've kind of mourned it because it sucks and it's no fun being there, I immediately try to figure out how can I make this change. Sometimes it takes a longer time. Sometimes if we have an illness, we can't do anything immediate about it. But at least I tell people, try to empower yourself as much as you can. Try and start at least looking at things, looking at solutions, talk to people who might help you, reach out to people who can help you. Try to find people that might have been through the similar experience that made it out. You know, the saying is, I'm going through hell. Well, make sure you don't stay there. Make sure that you start figuring out a plan, because as soon as you can empower yourself, as soon as you can realize that I can actually get myself out of this situation, then your mindset, the way that you look at life, instead of saying, why is this happening to me? And you actually get stuck in hell, you can start getting out of it. In my abusive relationship, it took me a long time before I could get out of it. There was no housing, there were no other apartments to find. There was nowhere to go. I didn't have any family that could take me in for a longer term. I had literally nowhere to go. I ended up in a women's shelter. But I knew my plan was to be able to get away and get far away. And even if it didn't happen immediately, and some were frustrated with that, but I didn't have much to work with, I knew that I was going to leave. I wasn't going to sleep with a rock by my bed anymore. I was going to take my young children. I was going to be able to leave. And I did. Eventually I could, and I got on a plane and I left, and I changed my life completely. And I know one of my friends, she says, and she went through, her husband cheated on her, left her with a small baby, and she had to move back with her family in a different state, and completely like move home again. But this time she had a baby, and she was a single mom, and she had to get over the heartbreak of everything that went on with her husband. But she told me one time, she said, you know what, in my deepest and darkest times, I always think of you, and then my life doesn't seem so hard anymore. And when I tell people that, they say, oh my gosh, that's so rude. But actually it made me laugh, and it made me happy that even my worst trials, and there have been too many of them, I wish there would be a little bit less, that somebody actually could take strength from that. Somebody who was in a very dark and hard place themselves could actually think of me, and their life was a little bit lighter, and they could get up that day, and they could do things, and they could move on, and they could move forward. And so that's the mindset that we need in life. We need to try and erase as much as possible this fact that, why is this happening to me? Because it doesn't do anything for us. It just makes us feel hopeless, like we're not able to do anything for ourselves. And we can, I promise you, we can. Even in illness or difficulty that we go through, life sucks a lot of times, and it doesn't come out the way that we plan. We make plans, and then life happens differently, or we fall in love and it doesn't work out the way we thought. The person is different, or our job wasn't like we had hoped. And just see it as a way to grow. Life is never failures. It's always about redirecting, about being able to grow, about being able to move forward. And I have been through so much. I can tell you that it works. It works so much better when you can see life as an adventure more, that this is not forever, and I know I'm gonna figure out a way to get out of this, and I'm gonna rise, and I'm gonna run. So I hope on this Wednesday, it's December, it's getting darker, people are getting a little bit more, less of hope and a little bit down maybe, and then the holidays are coming, and that could be anyway, right? I hope that you know that the power is in your hands, and then when you get into the mindset of the possibilities of life, it gets easier. It's not about ignoring what happens, it's about seeing yourself empowered in those situations. And I love that quote. So really, life happens for you and not to you. For me, the easiest way is to think of Albert Einstein's quote, right? It says there are only two ways to live your life. One is as though nothing is a miracle, and the other is as though everything is a miracle. Make yourself the hero of your story. See everything in life as having an outcome of being a miracle, and I promise that you will find it, and that you will find such a greater, positive, and more empowering outlook in life. I know it. All right, thank you so much, all of you, for stopping in and listening, and for letting me share this with you. I hope that I had some value, And I hope that you have a great rest of the week, and I'll talk to you soon.